Hello folks, today I'm going to give you a quick overview of Hope Eternal, the expansion for Stargrave by Osprey Games and Joe McCullough. Alright, so Stargrave Hope Eternal Supplement, or expansion, depending on your point of view. This is a solo/cooperative expansion for Stargrave. If you play a lot of player versus player, and you're wondering whether or not there's anything you need to pick this up for if you're not interested in solo or cooperative games, then no, there's not really. There's a bit of tech at the back, but that's about it. But there's no new powers or captain/first mate backgrounds. So this is solely for the solo and cooperative players, which is nice. The background is, obviously, the Ravaged Galaxy is filled with pirates, and in this you have a chance to do something about it. So it introduces the cooperative rules, how the game mechanics change to take that into account. Then the campaign itself is split into chapters, which is 10 scenarios across 5 chapters, as you can see there. It's a little epilogue for 6. And then at the end, there are some new rules for playing in underwater or vacuum of space, if you want, environments. So it adds in falling, swimming, heavy suits, that sort of stuff, and even high radiation. There is some new tech and beasts, including things like the mega crustacean, because we all like crabs. So, interesting narrative adventure, as always. As far as the game goes, Joe does suggest creating a new crew. If you're going to be playing solo, it's just as per, so it's not a major issue. However, if you're going to be playing cooperatively, you run half-size crews. So each player will create a first mate or mini captain, if you will. So you can either have your regular crews in there. However, if you do that, then it explains you need to be sort of tweaking the game, because the game's based on starting with a fresh crew and gaining abilities and leveling up and buffing that crew as you play through the narrative. So if you come in with a high level crew, you may find that you're overwhelming the standard scenario. But if you're playing it, your half-size crew gets a first mate and then level them up 7 times to get where they're at. They still get the captain's amount of gear slots, and you can only recruit 4 soldiers each maximum, 2 of which can be specialists. So it means you end up with, 2 small crews to run around with. Activating those crews as well changes slightly. You go from sort of 3 crew members can be activated down to 2. The turn sequence changes slightly. Your captain and first mate, although they may be both the same power-wise, you still need to nominate one to be the nominal captain between yourself and your friend, if you're playing co-op, that is. Then your creatures and your soldiers last. And then the creature action has a priority, which will be familiar for people who have played the solo version of Frostgrave. So it gives a bit more structure to how they'll work. And then the rest of the rules are pretty much as normal. Your campaign then, I won't go through all of this, but there are failing forward mechanics in here. So if you don't complete a scenario, in some narrative campaigns, you'll have to reset and try it again and again and again. In this, it may just mean that you've got to find another tactic to get around it. But you do have some interesting things like a train robbery, which are always good fun, which requires some interesting terrain tabletop pieces, but they could just be done with maps or map books and a big magic marker. So you've got your grav skiff to carry your crew to the train top, and then you've got some train cars to run along, because everybody likes a train heist. We've all seen Firefly and the Old West. Anyway, the narrative itself is very well laid out from Joe, as always, and it's worth going through it. I won't ruin too much. If you don't want to see it, don't read. However, the new rules for your underwater breathing, it reminds me a bit of the Last Prospector, where one of the scenarios took place on an asteroid, and if you weren't wearing breathing apparatus, you couldn't really take part. If you didn't have a combat suit, then you had to wear bulky spacesuits, which restricted some of your abilities and caused sort of detrimental issues. So same sort of thing here, where you've got your movement and your underwater breathing and jumping and things like that. So in some cases it's great, you can move faster, jump higher. In other cases your dexterity has gone to pot because of having to juggle all this stuff inside a big diving suit. So we have those. We have some of our new bits and pieces, as you can see, for tech-wise, all tied to the story, and then some appropriate bits and pieces for the planets that you'll visit, including the underwater, which is always fun. Interesting thing, there are 2 unique characters as part of this game. So obviously you can use whoever you want, but we do have models from North Star for them. So we'll take a look at those in just one moment. But as you can see, you've got Chella Rean, who's the daughter of a captain who is attempting to help overthrow the status quo. And she can be part of your crew, but she replaces one of the specialists. And there's also Drix Nomat, who's a minor noble third son. Nobody cares about the third son. However, he is devoted to Chella, and he actually works like a bodyguard for her, where shots can be redirected to him. He's an old battle-scarred veteran and a really nice figure. So let's just have a look at them. Okay, so like a lot of the other North Star miniatures, they are one-piece metal. No need to build. They come with some 25mm round bases. Chella then, as per her character, she has cybernetic implants. So some sort of targeting eyepiece, which gives her +1 with her pistol. She also has this robotic arm. Bit of flashing, as you can see on toes and fingertip there. However, the cast of the model is very nice, and that flashing aside, there's not much in the way of seam lines or mold lines anywhere else on this. So very quick cleanup, just once those wee bits of flash are away. She is wearing heavy armor, which kind of wearing a torso or breastplate. Then the rest presumably is hidden under that big baggy set of pants. And I really like the cloak on the shoulders look as well. It's got that posh pirate look. Could be wearing a cape, but you know, got sleeves instead. The equivalent of thanks, it's got pockets. She is Is that 28? Yeah, 28mm to eye level, maybe a little bit shorter. She is leaning forward slightly, legs crooked. But she'll match in very well with the other North Star plastics. Then we have her bestest friend and bodyguard, Drix Nomat. Now, he's also wearing heavy armour, although he looks like he means it a bit more. There's a lot more of it on view. Very similar style to the plastic trooper, I suppose, although wearing that coat over the top of it. Big knife on the back, and again a little bit of flashing on tips and toes, and a slight seam line visible on the inside of his leg there. So a little bit more cleanup required on Drix. However, as far as seam and mold lines go on the outside and top of the model, that is minimal / non-existent. So, as I always say, if you're going to have a seam line, have it somewhere where it's easily cleaned and then not easily seen. So most of the time, that's going to be out of sight and out of mind. He also has that massive carbine and quite a scarred face as well to make up for his old wounds. So a lot of heavy scarring down one side of his face. He looks like he's been dragged back and forward over a cheese grater. But yeah, really nice set of figures. If you plan on playing Hope Eternal, then it's nice to have the official models for the pair of them. However, they just make nice models as specialists or as a captain and first mate in your regular Stargrave crew as well. So there we have it. A great way of playing solo and cooperative games of Stargrave. So if you've already played through a lot of Stargrave in a PvP environment, then maybe a bit of PvE is the way to go. And those North Star figures for Chella and Drix, I think, let's say Chella and Drix, are really, really nice addition as well. So if you are playing through, you've got the two characters. Otherwise, you can substitute them for something else. Or if you've got them on the shelf, they can always be folded into other warbands and gangs. Yeah, let me know what you think below if you've been playing the solo or cooperative game. It's definitely one that's worth exploring. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.